Katie, this is coming from an analog guy, so you're about the opposite here with, you're beyond digital in many respects. But Katie Aquino is also known as Miss Metaverse and Futurista. She has been described as joyful and disruptive intellect and the queen of innovation. Now, over the past 10 years, we've kind of coined disruptive technology as a lot of the changes that are coming in. Some of them are going to challenge our different businesses and whatnot. But disruptive to us anymore is not. Initially, we looked at disruptive as being bad. Disruptive is extremely good. It gets us thinking, and it gets us to embrace new ideas and to educate along the way. And so when we use disruptive, and I'm sure that's the case here with Katie as well, very, very positive. Katie launched the Futuristic agency in 2013, has promoted her futuristic speaking, foresight, and consulting business. She's presently a regular and tech expert on the Tech Ranch, which is now national on radio. In her reality series, Awesome Future is currently a pre-production mode right now and expects to release this year. And I'd like you to welcome, please, to Bismarck, Katie. Also, to hear some high energy here as to what we're going to see down the road. So, thank you, Katie.
Oh, hello, Bismarck. Thank you for having me here. Okay, I have to lower this. I'm not as tall as you guys. Okay, so the future of transportation, right? We're talking about transportation all this week, and it's so exciting. There's a lot of forces that are converging right now, and it's probably one of the most exciting times to be alive. And I have to say that so many things are happening. It's a little hard to even explain, truly. So today I'm going to guide you through some different ideas and philosophies and real projects that are happening right now around the globe concerning the future of transportation. And I know that you are discussing about the corridor, and that's an exciting future in itself. I think the corridor is going to be very exciting. And that's just one small step in a very big future. So let's take a look at what we got going here. That's my fancy GIF, by the way. Okay, so one of the most common questions that I have is, what is a futurist? And a futurist is basically somebody who specializes in futuristic technology, philosophy, existentialism. There's a lot of different parts of being a futurist. I would like to describe myself as more of a techno-optimist because some people have their different ideas about what the future might be like. So why a futurist is so important is because the future is what creates the present. And a lot of people might not think about why the future is so important, but you might have heard it before. You know, what you're doing right now is going to be you in 5 years. And so if you start changing the way that you're thinking and you start opening your mind up to these different ideas, whether they be radical to you or not, then I believe that within the next 5 years, you'll be creating your own future. And that's why hiring a futurist is very important, because it's not very common that you're able to step outside that type of thinking and just take on these new concepts. So now that I've explained my profession, let's move on. Okay, so rising trends. We have several trends that are happening in different fields, such as technology. One of the, I guess the beginning of it would be the digital. We are going through a period of digitalization, and just as what was said before, there's a lot of analog people in the world. Being an analog person isn't a bad thing, but the thing is, we are moving very quickly into a digital world, and this digital world is going to be something that just is very, very, very just incredible. It's going to be completely different. And the generational differences between, let's say, people 60 and older, these are the digital immigrants. Whereas if you're born in the 1980s, or you're even younger, you are a digital native. You grew up with the web. And this is why there's such huge differences in thinking of those who even, let's say, went to high school and had Facebook. There's huge differences when it comes to technology, and it definitely affects us in different ways. Now, virtual reality, Oculus Rift, HoloLens, if you haven't heard of these, you might want to start looking into it, because virtual reality is going to have a huge, huge impact on all businesses in the very near future. Just imagine, when I'm saying that everything is becoming digital and this digitizing of every business is happening, just imagine that this room that we're in right now, it's one thing to be recording it live, but to actually have people being, wearing this type of technology like Oculus Rift or HoloLens, they will actually be in this room and be able to actually interact with us and likewise in this digital space. So it's kind of like the Matrix, basically, but it's actually happening. It's really exciting. It's a lot of different technologies are coming out right now, and it's a little hard to understand, but it will be as common as using our cell phones today. Okay, so next is IoT, known as the Internet of Things. Who here has heard of the IoT or Internet of Things? Oh, we have lots of people here, yes. So basically everything that we are going to be interacting with will become smart. And the younger generations are not going to know what it's like to have something that isn't connected to the web. Your toaster, connected to the web. Your garage, connected to the web. Everything is going to be smart, online, and speaking with one another as well. So it's definitely, once again, it's going to be a huge difference from the past into the future. So autonomous cars and commercial transportation, right? So, a big topic throughout this conference also is autonomous cars, and that is going to also have a huge impact as well. A lot of people wonder how autonomous cars might, let's say, get rid of certain jobs or cause a problem. But I truly believe that this type of technology is actually going to have a lot of beneficial effects on this type of transportation industry. I think that there's more safety involved with this type of technology, and it's ready to go. I think that a lot of this technology is already here, the lasers, the cameras, the radars, and I think that within the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to become very normal to want an autonomous car. Next will be drones, UAVs, so unmanned aerial vehicles, as we've been talking about. There was drones flying around earlier, also known as quadcopters. And drones have a lot of different great usage. I mean, whether you're shooting a film or if you just want to experiment with drones, or you will be able to use them for agriculture as well. Marlo and I were discussing it before on the Tech Ranch, and there's a lot of great uses for drones, and we will get into that later as well. AI and robotics. So this is one of my favorite topics. Artificial intelligence has come a long way. And I believe that artificial intelligence will be very highly tuned into the Internet of Things as well. Everything will be speaking with one another, and all of us will be getting to a point where it won't be uncommon for us to have our own digital self, almost like a virtual secretary, some digital being that we will confide in and help us with our scheduling and our appointments. And this is not too far away. This is actually happening right now. And if you've seen the movie Her, where there's someone who falls in love with the computer, this technology is getting very, very complicated and complex. And I think it is very possible that we will be confiding in a digital being in the next, say, 15 years or so. Robotics as well is very important. Robotics, drones are considered robots as well. Robots as humanoid robots, that's what we usually think of when we think of robots. We're all waiting for that day where we have our Jetsons type of maid around our house. But that's not really exactly what it looks like right now. Robots, for the most part, especially humanoid robots, are mostly being used in warehouses and A lot of the robots that are out there, and the most exciting ones, are actually being used for a lot of different purposes, and one I will show you in a little bit, which is very interesting. So as I was saying before, there are huge generational differences between digital natives and the digital immigrants. Technology is definitely a huge reason why there are huge differences, and we'll definitely go into more of that as well later. And last but not least, the maker movement. Now, the maker movement is very exciting. It's still somewhat new, but families are gathering together and they're working on creating drones from home. 3D printing is going to allow you to do so much. You could actually soon 3D print a robot, assemble it, and have it playing with your kids and become a family member within an hour. And this is happening already. I was recently at the Robo Universe event in New York City, and it was really exciting because I actually got to see a 3D printer that prints circuits as well as plastics. It's actually a multi-material printer. So we're not very far off from having very inexpensive printers that could print all kinds of neat things that, we could print our own drones from home. And that's gonna have a huge impact. We're able to all print our own drones or robots or anything that we could need right from our own homes. That's going to be great. Okay, so this is really fun. So speaking about Oculus Rift before, yes, the gentleman there, he's wearing the Oculus Rift headset, and what's really fun is that he is going on a virtual roller coaster ride through his Oculus Rift. Now, has anyone here actually tried Oculus Rift? You have? Yes. Oh, we have 3. Very exciting. And when you think about these new technologies like Oculus Rift, you probably think, oh, it's not going to be that great. Let's wait a few years. It's probably going to be better in the next phase. Well, Oculus Rift isn't even officially out yet. It's still in the prototype phase. If you want to purchase one, you could buy one as a developer kit. And I had purchased one myself, and I actually played some video games and experimented with a lot of different programs, and it's very, very, very advanced. So what I'm saying that we are very rapidly reaching a point when we are all going to be interacting with one another in these digital spaces using Oculus Rift. It's absolutely going to be happening very, very soon. So there's other headsets also, which are very, very great. One is the Samsung Gear VR. Now, if you're a Samsung user, you might want to consider buying the VR because, of course, like any other popular brand, just like if you have an Android everything, you have an Android Life. You have Apple products, you probably have Apple everything. So the same goes for Samsung, and it has very good quality as well. So basically, VR is definitely connecting one another in this intimate setting. We're going to be able to explore a lot of things in this virtual reality space that we necessarily wouldn't be able to in our own real lives. And I think that as far as transportation goes, I think a really huge benefit in the transportation or even oil industry using this technology is offering people virtual experiences. Create a virtual experience, bring them into your world, let them live or even visit an oil field virtually. These small things could actually really excite people and want to learn more about your business. And I highly recommend doing that. That's something that I think that getting into virtual reality and creating these virtual experiences for your customers or just anybody, the general public, will bring interest to you for sure. And yes, it does have that wow factor, so I just had to add that. But for those who are, virtual reality is quite expensive right now. Some of the headsets run in like $300 or around there. So there are other alternatives. As you see in the bottom right-hand corner, there is the Google Cardboard, which is just a piece of cardboard that you could put over your mobile device, and that actually turns it into a virtual reality device. So there's definitely a lot of alternatives. Okay, so how VR will innovate the transportation industry. Okay, so Yes, Toyota was promoting safety through virtual exercises. Now, what's really interesting is that a lot of car companies, like I was saying before, they're using virtual reality to allow people to have these experiential events. And for instance, at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City, there was the annual auto show. Toyota was there, and Toyota had this special virtual reality system that when you sit inside of it, you wear the Oculus Rift, and it's all about distracted driving. So, and it was especially targeted towards teens. So families who brought their teenage daughters or sons to this event, to the auto show, had their teens sit in this experiential car. They sat down in this car, wore the Oculus Rift, and they actually acted out what happens when you're texting and driving. And what was interesting is that these people, these teens who were wearing the Oculus Rift while they were driving in this virtual car, they got very scared because they realized how easy it is for you to get into an accident while you're texting and driving. Go figure, right? So, yes, and also another great thing too is Ford has gotten into VR as well. Ford actually had this system created. It's a very intensive rig that they use with a lot of different sensors and camera gear. They connected with a company called Vicom, and working with them, they actually designed this specialized rig that allows you to test drive a car that hasn't been built yet. And I think that's something that's very incredible because not only that, but they were given tools such as flashlights, different tools you would usually use on a real car. And so this is going beyond the average, car visit to the showroom. When you go to a showroom now, some people, sure, they do become a little hands-on when they're looking for a car. But I mean, it's not very often that someone would show up to a showroom with a bag full of their gear with them or their wrenches or their tools and just start going through the car. You don't see that. But with this system that they built, they actually let customers come in this virtual space and really go in depth through these cars and actually explore whether or not they would want to purchase these cars. And this really helps streamline the R&D, research and development process, allowing customers to actually test out these cars before they're even made, which is huge. So as I was saying before, this is the Toyota and Oculus Rift experience called Teen 365. It was at the Jacob Javits Auto Show this year. And you could see a preview behind me of what it looks like when you're driving and then all of a sudden you virtually hit into a car. Now, if you haven't used virtual reality, the Oculus Rift before, it's very, very intense. So when you're actually wearing this, you really do feel like you're getting into a car accident. So there is a huge ability to really engage with your customers using this technology because it feels so real, and that's the difference. And as I said before, yes, Ford and Oculus Rift are also streamlining the R&D process by using virtual reality. And here, this is a quick little moving picture here for you, a little GIF to show you kind of what it looks like in the virtual space when you're wearing it. So this is augmented reality, or AR, as it's known as. Now the differences between augmented reality and virtual reality are that augmented reality is really merging the digital world with reality. So if I were wearing the glasses right now, I would be seeing you all in the room before me, and the only difference would be I could be having a little Skype call in the corner of my eye. I could also be creating something. If I move my fingers, I could be creating a vase, and I could actually hit something as like a button on the side of my HoloLens, and that would send it to a 3D printer that is perhaps on the side of me, and by the time I'm finished with my Keynote, my vase would be created and I could go home with it as a gift. Yes. And that's the type of technology we have. It's all about multitasking. We all multitask all the time. I think a big problem that we have and we're seeing is being stuck down at your cell phone, your iPad, or any other device 24/7. And even on the news here in Bismarck this morning, doctors are talking about having the texting neck, how people's necks are actually becoming straight instead of curved because we're actually looking down so much. So it's actually affecting us in a lot of different ways. So that's why a lot of big companies like Google are trying to come out with these augmented reality types of wearables, such as Glass, Google Glass, Microsoft HoloLens, which is announced just, I believe, in March and should be coming out soon as well. And a lot of these are very exciting, and it's going to be very easy to use, and a lot of different types of wearables will be coming out using this technology. So you can kind of see here in this little GIF as well, kind of what it looks like when you're wearing it and also interacting with it in the virtual space. It looks very real, and it's very, very, very exciting. So IoT and the Internet of Things, as we discussed before. So everything will all be automated and connected. Everything will be smart, online, 24/7, communicating with one another. And one exciting thing that I really like is one of my favorite futurists, Michio Kaku. He actually said some time ago, he said that we're not too far away from a time when computer chips are as cheap as paper. And when that happens, we're going to be finding that everything is going to be connected to the web. And we could have little small particles. Computer chips are actually the size of dust that we could just sprinkle onto the roads, bringing everything alive and connected to the web. So it's all about making things smarter. And I think that there are a lot of different things that are happening, and we will be seeing a lot of changes soon. So, attack of the autonomous cars. All right, well, not everybody is in support of the autonomous cars. There's kind of a debate between whether they are going to be the next great thing or not. It depends if you're speaking to the techno-optimist or not. But autonomous cars are very exciting. I think that, it's already here now. We have cars that park themselves. Volvo recently said that they believe that basically at least 100 cars in Sweden will be ready to go fully autonomously by 2019. So the technology is already here, and a lot of these big companies like Google are just trying to basically tell the public that it is okay, the technology is here, and it's only a matter of time before we all just start, I guess, having these autonomous cars in our driveways. So autonomous cars, what you need to know. So yes, the technology is already here, but one of the problems that we're having is legislation. So legislation has been passed in certain states. This is why we're seeing testing that's being done in, say, California and also Nevada. And it's only a matter of time until legislation does get passed. But that's going to be one of the definite hurdles that's going to have to be overcome, just like drones and the issues that we're seeing with the FAA currently. So one of the exciting things that I'm not sure if everyone had heard about, but Delphi actually had a car that's fully autonomous, and it drove from San Francisco to New York, and it just completed its journey, I believe on April 1st, and it went very well. I think the driver didn't have to take over the car, really, so that's a very huge advancement for this type of technology. And also, just a couple months earlier, there was an autonomous car that also drove from San Francisco to Nevada for CES, where Marla was. So it was very, very exciting indeed. So Delphi also said that it will only cost about $5,000 to make any vehicle basically almost fully autonomous. So $5,000, if you really think about it, does seem rather cost efficient, considering of the type of upgrade that it's being done. So the Google car. The Google car is probably one of the most common autonomous cars that we hear about, just because it gets so much press. And Google recently released a statement saying that in the past 6 years, the Google car, the famous Google car, has only been in 11 minor accidents, which I do believe. They seem like small little fender benders. We haven't heard about anything pretty, worrisome when it comes to this type of technology, so that's great. Oh, and here we have the Hyundai driverless car. And this is really funny. So this video is the Hyundai driverless car where this driver, he was blindfolded. And he basically hit the gas and was going as fast as he could. And then this giant truck in front of him completely slammed on the brakes in front of him without him even knowing. And the man was completely okay. The car was smart and ended up braking and avoided any collision. So that was just a very exciting kind of sensationalist demo of this type of technology. And we're going to be seeing more of this, just more videos of car companies showing how versatile and future forward this type of technology really is. So speaking of this type of technology also, the Inspiration truck is one of the first commercial trucks that are fully autonomous in the United States. We were actually speaking about it on the Tech Ranch earlier today. And yes, it was created by Daimler, which is a North American truck company. And yes, it's semi-autonomous. It is very good for the highways and the roads. Now, what's great is about this technology is that it's basically used mostly in the daytime. That's when it's most efficient. And I think that this type of technology will help save a lot on fuel, especially when you have multiple trucks in a row, lining up together, going around the same routes. And I think that being able to split the transportation between both driver and also this autonomous car technology will be actually alleviating a lot of the stress probably for also the drivers as well. So here's the 411 on drones. I have a neat little GIF that should be working. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yes, drones are known as also unmanned aerial vehicles or unmanned aerial systems. They come in many shapes and sizes. I know that many of you already know this, but for those who are not familiar with drones, they are, like you're seeing behind here, some of them look more like quadcopters. They have 4 blades on them. You can control them through many different mediums, such as your iPhone or a tablet, or a remote, depending on whichever you prefer, or what type of system you have. Here is the Amazon Prime Air. Now, a lot of us were excited about Amazon Prime Air to be sending out drones that could magically buzz over your order in about 30 minutes. So this technology is already here. It's just unfortunately being held back because of legislation. And I think something that's pretty interesting to think about is what are the skies going to look like when we have a bunch of drones flying around with Amazon Prime Air? Is it going to be affecting the way that, our skies? Are they going to be full of drones? There's a lot of different things to think about with this, and that's probably why the legislation is taking as long as it is as well. So, but I believe it's only a matter of time until we end up having this technology out there. The demand is definitely there for it. And it is going to be very likely, as I said before, we will have 3D printers at home, but I think the way that people are buying things is going to change a lot in the future. I think that people are going to be buying things custom. We're going to see a lot more customized products that we could buy, which is great. I mean, if you want something and you're very much into it, you could customize it and have it delivered to you by drone within 30 minutes, something that we don't have now. And it will be saving a lot on fuel instead of having to go out and go purchase something and get into your car and drive. Having that type of technology and being able to save on fuel in that area would be nice as well. So robotics and AI. So I'm going to play this GIF for you so you can see Baxter the Robot. So behind me, this is Baxter. He is a humanoid type of robot. He was created by Rethink Robotics. And they have designed this robot for many different reasons. It's one of the greatest robots that are out there right now for many reasons. One, I would say, is the price point. Baxter only starts at $23,000. So to have this type of robot working for you at your company is very, very cost efficient. While Baxter isn't doing backflips or anything super exciting that we could see, yes, Baxter is just a robot who can do things that you teach him. So this type of robot's great, and we're seeing a lot more in warehouses because as you're seeing behind me, Baxter the Robot can learn what you teach it. So if you're teaching Baxter how to pick up a piece of wood, and let's say you have laborers that are doing certain things. Instead of having to rely on laborers that can only work so many hours, work like this can be streamlined and very much helped along with the robots, which is great. And the robots cannot be hurt. They do not hurt others. If you accidentally bump into Baxter, Baxter shuts off completely. So there's a lot of different pluses when it comes to this type of robot. So we're going to be seeing a lot of different changes when it comes to humanoid robots. There's a lot of advancements happening right now. It's very exciting to be keeping up to date with all the news that are happening with robots. And so they're going a little further into the future. I think one of the most exciting things is how people truly believe that the technological singularity could happen within this lifetime. There are researchers who are working right now towards plans to develop lots of different things, potentially allowing people to upgrade their bodies using robotics, bionics, things like that, which I go more into with my other types of keynotes, not for tonight, because we were speaking about transportation. So let's look more into the future. So far out future transportation. So I know a lot of you are already familiar with the drones, are familiar with this, that, there's a lot of topics I'm sure you've heard a lot about already. So I'm gonna bring up some topics that maybe you haven't heard about. So our world population is growing just incredibly, and everything is accelerating. The progress of technology is accelerating. Originally, Moore's Law used to say that technology would double every 2 years. Now we're getting to the point where technology is doubling every 6 months. It's already happening. We're already there. It's getting to that point now where it's just incredible. It's happening very, very fast. So we have a lot of big problems that we're going to have to solve in the future. And one of the problems will be population. How are we going to deal with so many more people on the planet? How are we going to adjust with our transportation and things like that? So we're going to have to come up with some new innovative ways to be transporting all the people that are living on our planet. Now there are, right now we have, I believe, around 7 billion people on the planet right now, and it's expected to go up to 9.6 billion by 2050. That is huge. It's over 3 billion people on the planet with us. So there's definitely going to be a lot of challenges to solve with that. So yes, innovations in transportation are definitely needed. And so now I'm going to get into a couple of topics that are very interesting. One is the space elevator, and that's a futuristic transportation system that has been talked about a lot, and it might actually happen within the next 30 years. Another is the Hyperloop, which I'll go into more in about a couple minutes. And we also have, oh yes, a new transportation system that it's very exciting, just as exciting as the corridor. So yes, the Hyperloop. So CEO Elon Musk of Tesla and SpaceX, he has proposed the Hyperloop. Who has heard of the Hyperloop? Yes, very exciting indeed. So basically the Hyperloop is a futuristic type of transportation that Elon Musk had originally thought of. And what it does is it uses low pressure and high speed tubes to transport people above ground in these type of tubes. And so what happened was there is a test track that's actually being built. A prototype should be built by 2016 in California. And although it won't be reaching the incredible speeds of 800 miles an hour that are proposed in the original papers describing this technology, it will be at least demonstrating the technology, and it's only a matter of time until the Hyperloop actually becomes a reality. So this is the space elevator. This is another very exciting concept. This space elevator was actually thought of in 1895. So someone actually thought about building an elevator to space back in the late 1800s, which is pretty incredible to think about. It was thought of by a Russian rocket scientist named Konstantin. And so the concept is that we're going to have a tethered cable that will be able to bring people or goods from the surface of our planet Earth up to low Earth orbit, or in space. And this will be very helpful because now when we have to bring things into space, we have SpaceX doing a lot of the work now and blasting off all these rockets, and it's a very big undertaking. So we're trying to find some innovative ways to be able to bring products and transport goods up into space. And I think that the space elevator is one idea that might actually happen in the near future. And an organization in Japan has proposed a way to actually make this a reality. The reason why the space elevator wasn't actually built earlier was because we needed to find a way to actually make it work. So when scientists found that carbon nanotubes were able to solve many of the issues that came with actually trying to build the space elevator, it became actual reality. It became actually viable for the first time. So there are people, an organization in Japan that has proposed plans to start building the world's first space elevator, and they said that it will be done within the next 38 years. So, superhighways. So today we're talking about, the summit is about the corridor, right? Which is very exciting, going from Canada through the United States, down through Mexico, having open borders to a certain extent, and allowing better transportation of goods. Now, what about a future when we have a superhighway that connects the entire world? That hasn't been done yet, but is very, very viable, and there are people that are actually working towards making this a reality. So the Trans-Eurasian Belt Development is a project that's been proposed in Russia, and they want to start working on it within the next few years. The way they're going to have it built is that they're going to start in Russia, have the superhighway move along their existing highways, and then move across through the Bering Strait, and then go on through Alaska, and then downwards into the United States. Now, just imagine if we had the whole world connected through superhighways. If we could take a train from Russia and end up in the United States, or if we could take a train from London to New York. There's a lot of different things that could happen with this type of transportation system. I think this is very exciting. And moving onward. Oh, and this is the end of our presentation. Yes. So I hope I brought some innovative ideas to the table today. There are a lot of huge things happening in the world when it comes to transportation in the future. And I hope that you are as excited tonight to learn more about the future as I am to be here with you. So thank you so much, Bismarck. You are very, very excellent. And I hope to be here in the future. Thank you so much.
Can we maybe ask some questions, if you wouldn't mind?
Oh, absolutely. Let's open up for questions.
So, anybody have any questions for Miss Metaverse? Yes, I knew you would, for sure.
You mentioned the 3D printing. One of the most exciting parts of that is the organic processes within 3D printing, where you can print an ear, you can print an organ. In the future, you'll be able to do this with a 3D printer. And I've seen discussions of it in terms of if you need a new heart, they'll just go in and blow up your lungs a little, or your area a little bit, build a new heart right in place, pull out the old one, and you won't even know the difference, except you'll have a new heart.
Yes, it's true. There are a lot of huge advancements that are happening with 3D printing when it comes to being able to grow organs and actually be able to transplant them, have them 3D printed using stem cells. There's a lot of different printers that are around the world right now. One is also printing DNA, which is also huge. So we will be seeing more. I think we are about to find out some of the incredible findings from the world's first 3D printed liver. And having lost my father to liver cancer, I mean, that's very exciting. We've all been affected by cancer. And I think it's very, very, very sad. And we have to find some solutions. I very much think that we have a lot of great things in the future with 3D printing, and as you were saying, being able to transplant organs, grow them from your own tissue, your own stem cells, and it is a reality. It's only a matter of time till it's widely available to us all.
Anybody else? Of course.
Uh-oh is right, yes. So, Katie, can you tell us a little bit about, let's go back to virtual reality and the Oculus Rift. People, when they have these glasses in the future, what kind of things can they do at home, let's say with car repair, or if you have a service technician come into your area, whatever, where do you see that going?
Well, this is really exciting, and this is what I wanted to go a little bit more into, and I'm glad you asked me this question. So when it comes to augmented reality and virtual reality, there's a lot of great things that are happening right now. One is an augmented reality app that's called iMechanic, I believe it's called, which is really funny. And what it is, it's an app that you can use on your iPad or on your iPhone. And in the real, you could also be able to use it on your wearables as well. It will be really great to wear with Microsoft HoloLens, because what's great about the Microsoft HoloLens is that what you're seeing, another person can see also with you. So you're able to share what you're actually looking at, just as you would if your best friend's standing right behind you and helping you fix something in your house. And that's what's going to be great. One of the most exciting things with this app is that as you're actually holding up the iPad or the iPhone to your car, it's actually showing you in this digital space how to fix what you're trying to fix. So it's all about knowledge value. And what we're seeing with this whole explosion of augmented reality, virtual reality, one of the greatest things that's coming out of augmented reality is the knowledge and being able to share the knowledge. And I think that a lot of people are going to have a lot of success bringing their own knowledge in their own fields to this digital space and being able to share it one-on-one personally through augmented reality. Another great thing with augmented reality and cars is BMW had been using augmented reality for working on their vehicles. One of the greatest things with BMW working on their cars using augmented reality glasses is that there is no DIY doing your own thing. When you have your car, there's a certain way to do it. The glasses will show you the proper way to work on the car as instructed in Germany, and there's no mix-ups. So I think when you have a company, you have a certain way of doing things, and you want to make sure that your company is sticking by the book. Well, augmented reality is a great way to make sure that your team is working properly and actually following the right directions, and there's no mix-ups. And I think that that's why BMW has used this for their service unit, their departments, because service departments can streamline their business and be able to fix cars faster and more efficiently using augmented reality.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I was reading about a company that created a 3D printer that's supposed to make 3D printers obsolete within 2 years. It's going to make everything internet capable. What type of applications do you see that all being used with?
Well, it's the key word is supposed to. Because we hear a lot of things that are supposed to get rid of this and supposed to get rid of that. Now, when you're saying, is it a multi-material printer or it's about being on the web, there are a lot of things that are going to be changing. I mean, just look at the beginnings of when we had printers in general. Look how much they've changed to now. We don't even need printers anymore. So everything is about different steps and different stages of the evolution of this type of technology. Of course, there will be, our printers today will be obsolete. They already are obsolete. Look at the printers like the Cube, the CubeX, right? A lot of those printers, out-of-the-box printers, they just do plastic filament. That's it. That's all they're doing. At RoboUniverse, as I mentioned before, there's already another printer that does not only just plastic, but they do every other material like wood or metal, plus they also print circuits into those things. So it's going to be about having more capabilities built into these printers. And as that keeps on coming out and people like the maker community, one of the greatest things about the maker community is because we don't have to rely on just the companies to get it solved, to get it resolved. Real people are figuring out how to make things better, and that's only going to help speed up the process of technology and the evolution of technology as the maker community is getting in there and figuring out, okay, look, this is the CubeX printer. It's only doing the plastic filament. I found a way to make it better. Let's do this. Then the company sees that, and then they'll be able to step up to their next level. So that's a great way that just the progress all around, and I think that's very, very great.
Anybody else? Okay. I just have one question too, and that is, as far as legislation and regulations are concerned, is the United States getting left behind by a lot of the other countries in that realm?
I have to say that, yes, the United States is being left behind to a certain extent. I think that one of the problems is that we are delayed in a lot of areas right now when it comes to this type of legislation and the technology. We might be delayed a little bit, but also at the same time, I think that there's a lot of great things that might come out of our delay, which is allowing, let's say, Europe to go through the different stages and, let's say, perfect the way that it works out. By us being a little bit behind, we're actually just going to learn from the mistakes of other countries that are maybe a little bit ahead of us. That's what I think.
Microsoft Cloud was mentioned today, and you mentioned it. As a kid that grew up in a one-room schoolhouse, I'm having trouble keeping up with technology, and I hate to display my ignorance, but could you explain to me what Microsoft Cloud does and how it benefits us?
Well, cloud computing is a term that describes everything being online and able to be accessed through multiple devices. So let's say, for instance, if you have a project that you're working on, and that project is, you write it on your computer and you save it as Microsoft Word, right? So that Microsoft Word document that you wrote, thanks to the cloud, can be stored on the cloud and accessed through any device, let's say your tablet or your desktop computer and also your phone. All those will be connected to your cloud. And if you're an Android user, you have an Android cloud. If you're an Apple user, you have the Apple iCloud. So that's the differences. One of the problems with all this technology is it seems a lot more complicated than it is. And that's why we have to have more education. And I think it's a shame that there isn't enough education on digital literacy. One of the things that I'm very, very much into and advocate for is digital literacy for kids to learn how to use their phones, how to stay safe on the web. These are things that are very, very important. What you put on the web stays online forever. Another big, huge trend is big data. Big data is what's happening with cloud computing is, yes, it's great to have everything online. It's great to have everything connected to the web and be able to access it through anything. But as we all know, everything that goes online. Thank you. Exactly. So it's very important to have education to learn the ins and outs of using the web, using the computer, staying safe, and also being educated and able to understand all the change that's happening. And that's why I try to keep up with my blog. Marlo and I on the Tech Ranch, we discuss a lot of these changes and things. So it's great. It's great to do. It's very important to learn and be educated about these changes.
Anybody else? Well, Ms. Metaverse is going to be around here for the next couple days. We're going to have some panel discussion on Wednesday. So there might be some questions that come to your mind here later tonight or tomorrow. So with that, want to thank you for a great presentation. I think it's exciting. Tomorrow there'll be something new that's happening. Everybody's going, wow. What about that, right?
Exactly. Change is always happening. You're all welcome to sign up for my newsletter, which is on futuristmm.com. It's the Awesome Future newsletter. I say the future is awesome because the future is awesome. So thank you very much.
Thank you.